The world is full of mysteries that we may never solve, leaving us to wonder and speculate. And today, we're going to dive into another one of those puzzling tales. This story involves a man named Prem Kumar. One day while walking in the forest, he spotted a tiger collapsed in front of him. Now, you might be wondering, what's the big deal about seeing a tiger? Well, this encounter was anything but ordinary. After all, tigers don't just appear out of thin air. And this one had collapsed, which meant something was seriously wrong. So let's jump right in and hear his incredible story. Imagine waking up early in the morning, feeling the energy of a brand new day, and deciding to explore the nearby jungle. That's exactly what Prem Kumar did. But what he found that day was far from what he expected. You see, the jungle was steaming. The air was heavy with moisture, and the ground was soft under his feet. Every step he took was like a whisper to the attentive ears of the forest. Suddenly, a deer leaped across his path, its eyes wide with surprise. Another deer followed suit, and soon they were joined by a herd of elephants, their tusks gleaming like ivory. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath, as if sharing some secret only the trees understood. As he stood there watching, a small monkey emerged from the bushes, chittering loudly. This tiny creature wasn't afraid, but rather curious, tilting its head to get a better look at this newcomer in its domain. Prem Kumar continued his walk, discovering intricate patterns of roots and vines that crisscrossed the forest floor. Sunlight filtered through the dense canopy above, painting dappled patterns on the ground. The deeper he ventured, the thicker the foliage became. Soon, the towering trees seemed to form a tunnel overhead, blocking out the sun and leaving only a dim light filtering through the leaves. Even the sounds of the forest seemed to change, becoming more muffled, as if the trees themselves were drinking in the silence. The air grew heavy, laden with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. It felt as though he had stepped into a different world, one untouched by human hands and governed by the laws of the wild. But then he heard it, a sound that sent shivers down his spine, a low growl echoing through the ancient trees. This wasn't the gentle rustle of leaves or the chatter of birds. It was primal, powerful, and undeniably dangerous. His instincts screamed at him to run, to escape the source of this terrifying sound. Yet curiosity, that relentless companion of mankind, held him captive. He stood frozen, listening intently, trying to pinpoint the growling's origin. Each second that passed felt like an eternity, and when he finally located the sound, his heart skipped a beat. Out of the thick foliage, a tiger emerged. Now, imagine the sight that must have greeted Prem Kumar. As he stood there, frozen in place, there it was, a majestic Bengal tiger, its orange and black striped coat a blur against the dark green backdrop of the forest. Its emerald green eyes gleamed with an intensity that seemed to pierce through Prem Kumar's very being. The tiger was massive, its muscular body rippling beneath its striped armor. Its paws were like velvet hammers, ready to deliver crushing blows. The growl rumbled in its chest, a sound that echoed the power and danger it represented. For a moment, there was nothing but the sound of the tiger's breathing. Each inhalation and exhalation, a reminder of the raw life force that pulsed within the animal. Prem Kumar was captivated, unable to tear his gaze away from the magnificent creature before him. It was a moment of pure adrenaline, of terror and fascination intertwined. The tiger had taken a few steps towards him. Now, this must have been terrifying for Prem Kumar. Faced with the raw power of a predator, his mind raced. Was this the end? Would this be his final moment in the heart of the jungle? As the tiger advanced, the intensity of the moment thickened. Prem Kumar's heart pounded in his chest, echoing the drumbeat of fear that resonated within the jungle itself. Each step the tiger took brought it closer to him, filling him with a primal terror that was hard to comprehend. In that moment, the boundary between life and death seemed paper-thin, easily torn. He was completely still. His eyes were wide, reflecting the image of the tiger. Its every move burned into his retina. There was no movement, no sound, just the two of them locked in a tableau of fear and awe. Time seemed to slow down, and each second stretched into an eternity. The tiger's growl reverberated through him, shaking him to his core. It was the sound of a predator asserting its dominance, reminding him of the stark reality of their situation. He was at the mercy of a creature that could end his life with a single swipe of its paw. But something strange happened. Instead of attacking, the tiger suddenly stopped. It halted in its tracks, its eyes locked onto Prem Kumar's, as if searching for something. It was a moment of heightened tension, a pause in the predator's hunt. And as Prem Kumar stood there frozen, he noticed something unsettling. The tiger was trembling, not in a way that suggested aggression, but in a manner that spoke of pain and exhaustion. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but Prem Kumar's gaze was fixed on the animal, and he saw it clearly. The tiger was in distress. Then it happened. The tiger collapsed in front of him, collapsing like a wounded warrior yielding to his final battle. Its massive body hitting the ground with a thud that shook the forest floor. It lay there, its breathing shallow and labored, its eyes glazed over with pain. For a moment, there was silence, broken only by the sound of the tiger's ragged breathing. As Prem Kumar stood there witnessing the spectacle before him, his fear began to morph into something else, something akin to concern. The tiger was suffering, and it was this realization that caused him to take the first step towards the fallen beast. Now, let's delve into Prem Kumar's thoughts during this crucial moment. What went through his mind when he saw the mighty tiger reduced to a whimpering heap before him? Here's a glimpse into his internal struggle. As he stood there, his mind was a battleground of emotions. Fear, yes, that was still present, lurking in the corners of his thoughts. But now, it was joined by a new emotion: curiosity. Why had the ferocious tiger, the undisputed king of the jungle, collapsed? What could have caused such a powerful creature to succumb to weakness? These questions clawed at his curiosity, demanding answers. But there was another, more primal fear that whispered insidious doubts. Was this a trap? Had the tiger lured him into its final moments just to test him? Was this part of some cunning plan? His mind raced, trying to decipher the signs, to read the intentions of the fallen beast. But the tiger's eyes were unreadable, its expressions betraying nothing. It was a puzzle that gnawed at him, a mystery he yearned to solve. But above all, there was the tiger's suffering. He saw the pain etched on its features, the labored gasps of its breath. It was a vulnerability he hadn't anticipated, a vulnerability that stirred a protective instinct within him. Suddenly, the tiger's plight overshadowed his fears, pushing aside the doubts and replacing them with determination. He had to do something. He had to help. Despite the uncertainty, despite the whispers of danger, Prem Kumar found himself stepping forward. It was a risky decision, one that could cost him his life, but driven by an inexplicable sense of purpose, he continued forward. Each step was a gamble, each breath a prayer. The tiger was his focus, its pain, his motivation. He was drawn to it like a moth to a flame, his fate intertwined with that of the fallen king of the jungle. Next, let's talk about how Prem Kumar managed to get the tiger back to civilization. When he realized the severity of the situation, he acted quickly. He needed to get the tiger back to civilization where it could receive proper help. But how could he do this alone, and without getting hurt? Here's a look into his actions and the challenges he faced. As he approached the tiger, his heart ached at the sight that met his eyes. The magnificent beast, once feared and revered, was now broken and vulnerable. Its breathing was shallow, its body racked by tremors, its eyes dull and lifeless. It was evident that the tiger was fading fast, slipping away from the grasp of this world. He knew he had to act fast. Time was slipping away, each second ticking away the tiger's chance of survival. The task before him seemed insurmountable. How could he, a mere human, hope to move a creature of such immensity and power? But looking into the tiger's pained eyes, he saw not a monster, but a fellow creature in need of aid. And that realization sparked a resolve within him. With newfound determination, he began his Herculean task. Carefully, he started to lift the tiger, wincing as he felt the weight of the animal pressing down on him. It was a monumental effort, a struggle not just of muscles, but of spirit. But as he hauled the tiger onto his shoulders, something remarkable happened. The tiger stirred, its eyes flickering open for a moment before closing again. It was a flicker of life in the face of death, a sign that his efforts were not in vain. The journey back was arduous, fraught with challenges at every turn. But Prem Kumar pressed on, driven by the faint hope that he could save the tiger's life. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, help arrived. The villagers, initially skeptical of Prem Kumar's tale, were astounded when they saw the tiger, alive but barely hanging on. Together, they managed to stabilize the tiger, providing it with water and basic first aid. The vet's arrival was a beacon of hope, a lifeline thrown to the drowning tiger. With expert hands and a calming demeanor, the vet worked tirelessly to bring the tiger back from the brink. It was a long and anxious wait, but eventually, the tiger began to stir. It opened its eyes, glazed over with pain at first, then focused, then clear. It was a victory, a testament to the combined efforts of man and beast, a validation of Prem Kumar's unwavering determination. Now let's talk about what happened to the tiger and how it recovered. The tiger, thanks to Prem Kumar's quick thinking and the vet's expertise, slowly began to recover. It was a long and arduous process, but each day brought new improvements. Here's a look into the tiger's recovery and eventual return to the wild. The days that followed were a mix of anxiety and anticipation. The tiger's recovery was slow, each improvement a hard-earned victory over the brink of death. Under the watchful eyes of the vet and the care of the villagers, the tiger slowly regained its strength. The wounds were cleaned and dressed daily. The tiger, initially wary of human touch, gradually began to trust the hands that offered it aid. Its diet was carefully planned, ensuring that it received the nutrition it needed to heal and regain its vitality. The vet, with his years of experience and deep understanding of animals, was able to monitor the tiger's progress closely, adjusting its treatment as needed. It was a long journey, but the tiger's will to live shone through. It clawed its way back from the edge of death, determined to see another sunrise. The news of the rescued tiger spread, drawing in wildlife enthusiasts and conservationists eager to help. The initial skepticism of the villagers gave way to admiration and gratitude. They rallied together, forming a network of support for both the tiger and Prem Kumar, who would become a local hero. After weeks of dedicated care, the tiger was deemed fit enough to be released back into the wild. It was a bittersweet moment, filled with the joy of the tiger's survival and the sadness of parting ways. As the tiger disappeared into the lush green depths of the forest, it carried with it the hopes and admiration of the people who had saved it. In the quiet of the night, when the stars twinkled above the jungle canopy, the tiger could be seen slinking through the undergrowth. Its movements were fluid, graceful, a testament to its enduring spirit. It was free, yet it carried within it the memory of its ordeal and the kindness of the man who had saved its life. The story of Prem Kumar and the tiger is more than just a tale of bravery and compassion. It's a reflection of the bond between humans and the natural world. It reminds us of our responsibility towards the animals we share this planet with. It's a story that echoes through the ages, urging us to be more than just observers of nature's wonders. It's a call to action, a beckoning to be a part of the wild symphony, to protect, to preserve, and to cherish the untamed beauty that surrounds us.